We've been doing something for years. In fact, I'm going to give you a couple of discs called The Demo That Got the Deal. You must know Steve Hawley from Wings.
Yes.
Steve's on one of them.
Steve.
He's a dear friend. And what was the demo that got the deal for Alice Cooper?
The demo didn't really do it for us. Joe Smith and Mo Austin, who were honchos at Warner Brothers back in the 60s, they came to the Whiskey A Go-Go and saw us play there with Led Zeppelin, one of the first shows they did in America. And they came and they watched us, and then they were overheard walking out saying, how can we go back to the board of directors and tell them we want to hire 5 transvestites? And so we didn't get the deal. We ended up on Frank Zappa's label, Bizarre, which then became Reprise, which I think may have been distributed by Warner's at the time. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It was owned by Frank Sinatra and
Yes.
Reprise.
Yes, Reprise. Yes, I always called it Reprise incorrectly, but so that didn't work out. But then we knew that we needed a single. We had a reputation. We had the chicken incident in Toronto, and
The poor thing.
and yeah, that was the demise of Pecker, our pet chicken.
Was it your pet, actually?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you had, it was
two
a,
chickens. We had
Oh, no.
Larry and Pecker.
oh, the poor thing.
Yeah. We felt kind of bad about that. And, it's one of the things that Alice says that's absolutely true. He really did think that the chicken was going to fly. But anyway, so we had a reputation, but we knew, okay, we've got all of this stuff. We've got a reputation. People know who we are, but we need a single. And so all these, years of driving around all in the same station wagon, the Alice Cooper Group, listened to a lot of radio. And in the Midwest, there was a lot of good programming going on. And we loved the Guess Who singles. The songs just jumped out of that little speaker in the dashboard, and we're like, we need that guy. Who's that? Who produced that? And it was Jack Richardson. And Jack Richardson, there's 2 versions of the story. The one that we started hounding him. He'd get to a hotel and he'd have messages from us, hey, listen to Alice Cooper, we want you to produce this. And he'd go to Chicago to produce a band and get to the hotel, same thing, So finally he's like, we got to get these guys off my back, So this young kid who had never produced an album, Bob Ezrin, he said, you go listen to these guys so that we can tell them, that we pass and get rid of them. So Bob Ezrin came, Max's Kansas City and New York City, and he came up to us after the show and he said, wow, you guys are great, I want to produce you. And, Glenn Buxton, with his sense of humor, very much like W.C. Fields, he's like, I buy him a drink, but he's not old enough. And we thought, yeah, right, kid. And anyway, because him and the manager went to Warner Brothers again, and Warner Brothers said, okay, but we've got to have Jack Richardson on overseeing the project. So everybody gives Bob Ezrin credit for Love It to Death and Killer, which is appropriate, but Jack Richardson was overseeing the whole thing for this young, not an apprentice, but just this young kid who worked for Nimbus 9. And so that's how it happened. We finally had a producer with a line of hits, and Bob Ezrin turned out to be just as good as Jack Richardson.
I'm 18 sounded great tonight as it did when I first heard it.
Oh, thank you.
One of my all-time favorite songs.
Oh, thank you very much. That's